Alright, alright. Oh, it's streaming live on Discord too. Let's see how this works out. Something a little new. Paramay trades. This is my video journal for chart study. And we're looking at commodities. Today's the 25th. And we're going to look at the Euro FX again. So I think this is the third update on the Euro FX. Interesting development at the beginning of the week this week. So let's dive into the chart because we're just picking up where we left off on the last bout here. Well, I think where we left off was right about here. So when the week opened on Sunday, had a nice little gap down, and we were looking where we were going to find support. And we looked at a couple of different areas where there were technical tests that we wanted to see something from the bulls here. And I think this is where we left off right here. And it looks like we didn't get it. So it looks like they couldn't defend this pivot. And what we were looking at was the high market sentiment, and we were waiting for this to retrace a little bit. And we got that retrace. So look good. Look good for an entry. And if you haven't watched the first two videos, the reason why we were so bullish on the Euro FX is because of the position of commercial interest. So this is one of our leading indicators. Oh, I should close my email out, huh? Let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of my video games too. So this is just to recap. This is the reason why we were so bullish on the euro. As these guys turned on a dime at the end of January and set a new 6-month high up over 80%. So 100% is extremely bullish. And the 3-year index is up over 82. So anytime we see up over 80, we know we're in extreme territory. I had a nice little run back here too, leading up to the increase in negative outlook. So the increase in short contracts. So they had dropped down significantly on the 21st. Right? 2020, 121, yep. So they had dropped down significantly. I mean, that's really low in comparison to where they had been up until this point. So commercial interest getting bullish, holding a positive outlook. And we were looking for support in this technical area. In one of these technical areas. I only say technical test because it's, using the verbiage from Bob Volman here, understanding price action. Or anybody pretty much who talks about price action. And technical test is just an area where, we got quite a bit of resistance going on up in here. Quite a bit of rejection. Few wins by the bulls. And do we have that nice W pattern that Bob talks about too here? It looked like it. We were looking at this pivot as for a place for safe entry. And if we recall, we felt that this was defended nicely by the bulls, and then we had this nice build up and break. A little harder to see if you're not looking, but this was a nice build up and a defensive candle into a break, and then a retest of this technical area. So this pattern broke, and then it came back down and it retested it. So we got this nice technical test going on right here. This is where you're a buyer, I think. Even up in here. If you weren't in yet. If you weren't satisfied, I don't think with this pivot, with this nice W action going on here. This pattern supposedly is bullish favor, right? This definitely favors the bulls. And then we've also got this confirmation here of, higher lows on both sides. And then we had this nice build up and a break. Here's where you're a buyer. This is where you gotta take off here. Make a decision with a stop below the lows under this pivot. A nice swing. So what we were looking at here was the breadth of the last couple of weeks. We're looking at this support area, this floor as a technical test. We broke straight through that, but we did finally find support down in here on this 15 technical test. So yeah, we pierced through it. But the bulls defended nicely here. I could see coming down here that initially the area we were watching on this gap down was right within this. So this is the 8 EMA, and this is, we're just looking at it as an area that we can, I don't know, juxtapose, I suppose, Are we getting a victory? Are we getting up over the EMA? I mean, this looks like we're looking at the slope of this, and I'm saying, no, you're not a buyer yet here. Tried to pierce up through it. The bulls tried to pierce up through it, and the bears just attacked here, and then we had this continuation, especially when they couldn't defend the low. Anyways, we found support down here on this technical test. We pierced through it, but bulls recovered. There's a nice candle. Pick up and then just get above it. Just get above the EMA. So that we've got this downsloping, trend line here. Just looking at the we're going to come across this here? Yeah. So we break over the EMA. Get a nice squeeze in between that trend line and the close of this candle. And the bulls look like they just took over here. And then to the tick, we bounce off this technical test area, and away we go. Well, what we were waiting for is what happened. Think rally when market sentiment is down. We're already bullish on this because of commercial interest. We think that that's our leading indicator here, and it wasn't wrong. So we actually, it was right. And we had, and even more to the point is that we had a nice swing pivot right here. Let's go right here. That was nice. Higher lows on each side of this pivot, and this candle traded strong through the high of this candle and the high of this candle. That was a strong pivot. That was a strong indicator to begin with. So we have a nice candle like this here too, but it's not as strong. But still, nonetheless, it was a nice pivot. Almost traded through the high, not quite, but it was still enough, I think, for bulls to get on board here, even with the rejection of the on this candle. Market sentiment's low. Think rally, and we rally up here. So where does that leave us now? Where are we now in the scheme of things? Well, hopefully you were a buyer down here. If you missed that, there might have been another opportunity in this area. Higher low. Another technical test of this area, the breakout area. So we broke out from this cluster right here. Came down, retested this ceiling. Nice technical test of the pattern, and we break out and we find support on this candle right here. This is a nice candle, right? This is a nice a bullish defensive candle. And this could have been a false low, as Bob points out. We come down here, we don't quite take out the candle prior to that one. It looks like a nice pivot, but that's a nice hammer candle, and then, we find support here. The second candle, we find support again. And we're right above that 25, what are we, the 8 EMA. So we blast off here, find a high pivot, and come back down, retest this area. And it was a good test. This was a really good test. So we're your buyer in here. Market sentiment, moving down. Nice defensive pivot by the bulls. And we've got a lot of whip here across the EMA. Break out through these descending highs and off to the races. So I think when we got this pinch right here, that's when you're a buyer. The sideline bulls look like they like this development. Across these two descending highs, and we get a nice pinch between the pattern and the EMA, and then the bulls get on board here. And you're a buyer down in here. And you're a buyer when you see something like that because of our interest with CoT, plus a declining market sentiment here. Think rally. Whew. And we rallied. We rallied nicely. So we hit, we bust through this high. Can't hold it, but the bulls definitely take it out. And this looked like the bulls were ready to strike again, didn't it? And this is in the waning hours of... And so we close on Monday. No, this is this is your market open here. This is your market open. So it looks like, bullish dominance the day prior, and then we start a new day, and where we finish high. Another up day. So far it looks like another up day here on Tuesday. Where could we have been a buyer again? If we missed it, first, second, third time around. Getting the same kind of look here with descending highs. We got ourselves a nice pivot here. Even if you use this pivot here, it's still a higher low. Higher low on the left. You got your lower low. Is this a double bottom here? Yeah. Double bottom pivot here. And bulls defend. And then again, here's, not as strong of a pivot between the three candles, this fractal here, but when this candle traded through it, and again here, descending highs, EMA, squeeze play, build up pressure, and I had a decent amount of build up here. I would think on the 15, probably looks even better on the 5. Whoop. And this is a decent amount of build up, I think. We have your nice ascending higher lows here. Yeah, so if you're a break buyer, I mean this pinch between the EMA and the pattern looked like a good place to be a buyer, and the bulls took off, and then they defended along this descending highs. So we have descending lower highs here. We break this pattern. A quick retest of that trend line break, and then come back down and retest it again, almost to the tick. Almost to the tick. The bulls are in full control here, or at least. But now we've got. Now we're looking like we've got almost a 15-minute quad. Looks like a quad top. Forget double tops, man. We got a quad top here. Maybe even more, you know. What's 5? We got a 5 top. Anyway, I don't know my Spanish or my French. Spanish for 5. It's like cinco. Ah, cinco. Cinco. Yeah. We got a cinco top, huh? Anyways. What are the bulls going to do with this? I mean, where's market sentiment here? On the rise. On the rise here. We're double topping. It's helpful, I think, to just draw these, draw these boxes, draw these ranges as soon as you get them. But we can almost put it way down here. We've got quite a range going. Where are the bulls gonna find defense? Because it looks like, ooh. We've already retested this. Yeah. And we got this nice strong pivot. We've got this double top. We got this double top pivot right here. So now we've got a ceiling that we got to work with here. Where to from here? I would watch for a false break of this top. Yep. See if there's, see if they get a false break at this top and bears take control. Or if we find support on it. Because we've got a double, we got, here's that low pivot that we've got to work with. And this 15-minute pivot high has been holding. And where do we find that? We found that up in here. So here's your next high pivot. Is that what they're coming after? Is that what they're looking for? Quite possible. And I guess it's no strange coincidence that we ran into resistance there, because we had, there's your first technical test of this area, short-term support. This is, a couple of bounces off of here, and we've got a nice impulse off of this area. So another important level. We'll call it 15-minute support. It's, it doesn't look like much, but it's there. It's definitely there. It didn't, yeah, well, it does. It looks a little bit more than it was. So that was a good first test of that, but they, looking for better prices, and they punched through. So here's what this looks like this would be a nice round test. Come up and test these shorts here. If they're already not nervous here, I mean, they would be. Maybe we got some ignition here because these shorts are closing out. They're getting a little nervous. And now we've got this identified pivot here, and it looks like this floor that we're working with. And then this ceiling too, that we flipped. Boom, boom, we flipped this. Shorts get nervous, so they are getting on the right side with the bulls here. So where are you now? Where are you now? Yeah. Nice 1, 2, 3. Is this looking like a nice M shape? This looking like a nice M shape pivot here. Why don't we drill down in the 5-minute here? Is this a favorable pattern for bears? I mean, if you're a bull, are you concerned here? I think so. I think so, yeah. There's the bottom of this range. Are we getting this nice M pattern that's definitely going to favor some bearish activity? So, we get a false break up here, and then we come down. Yeah, very possible. Very possible that could be materializing here. Bulls are trying to hold this uptrend, but will they? This pattern doesn't. It doesn't look like it's favoring the bulls too much. Let's see how it materializes. But I am not a buyer here. Not right here. I'll wait for a dip. I'll wait for a dip again, like we had back here. This nice technical test. This was a nice place to buy with market sentiment as low as it was. And again here too, market sentiment, tapering off on the 15-minute chart, on a chart that we're already bullish on, and then think rally, and we rally up. Gonna need to see more before we can get conclusive here. And no strange coincidence either that 2 weeks ago this was the low. Probably 3 weeks now, right? And look where we traded, right near the 2-week low. Had to see more. I mean, we could break to the upside, but I would be worried about maybe they come up, try to take out this 15-minute high. But then I would be careful of a really strong retrace here. Market sentiment moving up though. Sentiment moving up. Be careful. Everybody's in the pool. Everybody's excited. Then it's time to get out. It wasn't. So market sentiment again. On the rise. Not fully peaked out yet here. And again, I don't really know. I don't know where they get the numbers for the market sentiment. I couldn't tell you. I mean, TOS derives these from something, but I got no idea where it's coming from. Look like something new, because we don't see it in their TOS Learning Center. They don't have a market sentiment, learning center or information or knowledge base on what market sentiment is. But we've been following it. We've been following it because, well, market sentiment I think is important here. Rip and dip. I say rip and dip here. We're getting up in that zone. This is, what we've got as a relative high, I think, on the market sentiment. This is, we mark this off as being pretty high. Over that is above the average here. At least on the 15-minute chart. And you can see, sentiment really low down here, really low. not blazing, not breaching this high market sentiment area. They're getting a little bit more excited as price starts to dip even further down here. And, rock even at rock bottom here, still continue to shred it. So I mean, how much do you rely on market sentiment? It's something you don't even know where the numbers come from, but prove useful. And we had a nice indication that market sentiment was on the rise. Still is on the rise, but our leading indicator, what usually turns our head and gets us thinking about being on the right side of the trade, is commercial interest. So we'll see how this one pans out, but I'm not a buyer up here just yet. I'd like to see this come down again and then buy again. We were buyers back here. We were buyers, in this area. So let's see something. We got this double top action going on here. Kind of something similar we had, going on here. Wicks aside. They just do a couple of ticks double top here, but I mean, see if this peters down, see if it breaks out, see if this just trend line here can hold. They've already tested it once. It was a pretty decent impulse, but they did not break. They did not break through. They could not break through. It was a strong bearish candle here. Really strong bearish candle here. Not as strong on this one, but we do have some double top action going on here. So. Yeah, I know. It's 5 touches. 5 touches. What would that say? The more we peg this, the weaker it gets. Well, we pegged it quite a bit up in here, and bears won that battle. Right now, bull's still defending the 25 or the 8 EMA. Bull's still defending this, but can they hold it? I don't know. If they do, I mean, there's no even if they do break through this, where's the buildup? There's no buildup here. So we pivot off, we run up, we come back down. I think if this breaks up without the the buildup behind it, like you see down here, I'll click happy today. I think if you don't get a proper build-up, even if you bust through here, I don't think it's sustainable. I could be wrong too, but we'll see if the bears take control here. I'm gonna have to find support down here before we can take off again. Get a little build-up in this box, and then we break. That'll be a little bit more sustainable. What I would be looking at that high pivot there as a place where there might be some stiff resistance. All right, that's it for the EuroFX, man. I'm happy that we could do this update. I'm really excited about this because we found a couple of really good calls in here. Not an advisor. Just I gotta tell you, these are my own calls. This is my own personal journal here, trade study. Don't get too excited. And not a financial advisor here. This is my own trade speculating journal, and I welcome you. Thanks for stopping in. Hopefully you find yourself on the profitable side of the trade. Charts are in Discord. Plenty of resources, plenty of video content, and I'm happy to share my own personal journal with you. So thanks for stopping in, and safe trading.